Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Today we are going to study Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 14. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dhukadaha agamapayino nityas tang stitikshasva bharata. Translation. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So Krishna is giving a very introductory lesson in spiritual life, and he's talking about winter and summer season, and this is something that every devotee should learn very quickly as they begin their spiritual practice. And it's like we must understand that this world is the material world, and as we are here in the material world because we chose to be away from God and for some particular unique reason, we rebelled against serving God, and so we are trapped in this world of pain. There's birth, old age, disease. There's all these things that are not desirable. So we see that, when we're living in this world, there's, to begin with, so many problems with weather. We're in a place that we want to be warm. We want it to be warm, but then there comes winter and it's freezing, and then it rains, and then it's very cold, and then we're suffering from the cold. And then we say, oh, I wish it would be hot. And then summer comes, but then summer will be also very hot, and then one is sweating all day and it's very painful because the heat is very strong. So then one says, oh, I wish it would be winter. So in that way, we experience this, that this world has all these obstacles. And if one is disturbed by these elements, it's very hard to focus the mind on God, because one spends the time otherwise lamenting or complaining that, oh, the weather or this problem or that problem. So this, one must learn, Krishna is saying, one must learn to tolerate these disturbances. And this tolerance means that one should understand that even if I go to the tropical place where there's only warm weather all year, even you will arrive there and then next week there's a hurricane, or then there's some disease or some deadly mosquito. You never end in varieties of things that will cause you suffering or pain or some kind of anxiety. So we should think about this and understand that, anywhere in this world, if I'm even in a bunker or in the perfect weather with machines that control the temperature and humidity, we are going to suffer. There's no escape from that, because this world is designed, it's like a prison. When you're in prison, there's no there might be some little benefit that if you work really hard, you might get 10 minutes of television, or I don't know, you can get that your family visits you twice a week instead of once. But still, you're in prison, even with all the benefits, and if you're a good prisoner and all, do everything right, you still have to live the prison life. So in this world, this material world is like that. It's like a prison. So we should learn very quickly that, okay, the reason that I am in this world is my own rebelliousness, and the nature of this world is like that of winter and summer. So I should just learn from that and not be surprised and be happy and sad. Like the words that are used here is Sanskrit word, sukha, happiness, and dukkha, given pain. There's many songs that will use these two phrases, sukhi, dukhi. And that's the same with happiness, just like winter and summer. So we're happy and sad. And in spiritual life, one wants to achieve a higher state of mind. It means eternal bliss, Satchit Anand, eternal knowledge, bliss, pleasure. So when we don't have those things and we are drifted by the objects of the world, that if the weather is nice, I'm happy, and if the weather is not nice, I'm unhappy, then that's a very neophyte stage. And Krishna is saying, okay, learn to tolerate it, learn to understand that, okay, you can still live in this world with a spiritual practice, but you just have to learn that these things are going to happen all the time wherever you are. You're going to have happiness and distress, winter, summer. There's no escape from that. So instead of being dragged by this up and down, just be peaceful. Just be peaceful and perform your duty, your spiritual duty, which is to revive your knowledge of God. So it's more really about engaging your mind, finding a way that your mind won't start lamenting or complaining or being dragged by these external events. It's about being creative. If you know, for example, oh, today it's raining and it's cold, and oh, well, let me set up a nice environment where I can read the scripture very nicely and I can be under my blanket very warm and cozy, and making spiritual progress. Instead of what most people do is like, oh, it's rainy and cold, I will just sleep, or just don't do nothing. That is not very nice. We should not be dragged like that. And when we achieve this higher, more like it's a transcendental state in which all these external things don't matter so much, then we can experience higher and higher levels of bliss, levels of spiritual realization. This is really an introductory concept, but most persons who are starting fail to comply with this simple thing. The idea is that as we make more spiritual progress, the mind will be not so much focused on the body, on the external things of the world, and more on the internal spiritual realm, the holy name, and the spiritual pastimes of God. So this is the basic concept. In the purport, Prabhupada mentions that, for example, a woman, when she's cooking, sometimes the kitchen gets really hot, especially in the seasons that summer, May or July, things like that. And the woman doesn't say, oh, now it's too hot, so I'm going to stop cooking. No, because she has a family, she still has to cook. So she only continues her duty and she just tolerates. Even if it's really hot, the duty must be performed. And it's the same with anything that we want to do in life that's valuable. It's the same principle. We just have to keep going at it until we become expert. And spiritual life is not the exception. There will be so many obstacles, especially in the beginning, because you will say, okay, now I'm going to be vegetarian, but then all your family is like, you're weird or you're strange or whatever. So then you have to experience that distress that, oh, now I have my friends, my so-called friends, now they're not very favorable. Now they're against what I'm doing. So again, happiness and distress. But a devotee, someone who understands that spiritual life is like that, then becomes determined and just continue. Just keep moving on. No stopping a determined person. It's just a matter of making up the mind. And whenever there's this desire to lament, just take that desire away and focus again on God. If you have any comments or questions, please visit the website, thevedicway.org. Thank you. Hare Krishna.